In the year 2147, humanity had reached the peak of space exploration. After decades of technological advancements, interstellar travel was no longer just a dream. The Vanguard, a state-of-the-art spaceship, was tasked with a groundbreaking mission to travel beyond the Milky Way and explore a distant galaxy known as Nebula Gate, a place where no human had ever set foot. Dr. Ayan, a brilliant astrophysicist, stood at the observation window of the Vanguard, staring at the endless void of space. His mind was consumed by the mission's implications, but his heart still carried the pain of loss. Years ago, his family had perished in a space crash during an earlier mission, and since then, he had dedicated his life to finding answers in the stars. But this mission felt different, too dangerous, too unknown. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were venturing into a place where humanity might not belong. The captain of the Vanguard, Zara, was everything Ayan was not: pragmatic, resolute, and unwavering in her belief that humanity's destiny was among the stars. As the crew prepared for launch, she addressed them with a sense of excitement and purpose. "This is our chance to prove that humanity can venture into the unknown and thrive. We are the future, and the future is out there." Her words, filled with conviction, stirred the crew into action. As the ship traveled deeper into space, the crew members settled into their roles. There was Nadia, a brilliant engineer who kept the ship running smoothly; Luca, the medical officer whose calm demeanor put everyone at ease; and Kato, a young Evo astronaut who was experiencing his first deep space mission. Despite the challenges of long-distance travel, the crew formed a tight-knit family, supporting each other through every trial. However, as they neared the Nebula Gate, strange things began to happen. The ship's sensors started to pick up bizarre cosmic readings: unexplained energy surges, gravitational anomalies, and signals that appeared to be from an intelligent source. Dr. Ayan became obsessed with these signals, believing they were a sign of life beyond Earth. But the more he studied them, the more unsettled he became. Something about the signals felt wrong, like they were calling to him specifically, as if they knew him. One night, while working alone in the lab, Ayan received a cryptic message from the source of the signals. It was a voice, faint but distinct, whispering his name: "Ayan, come, find us." Terrified and intrigued, Ayan shared his discovery with Captain Zara. "This isn't just a signal," he said, his voice trembling. "It's a warning. We are not alone out here, and whatever this is, it's waiting for us." Zara, ever the realist, dismissed his concerns. "It's just interference. We need to focus on the mission." But Ayan's obsession with the signals only deepened. He began to doubt the true purpose of their journey. Was humanity prepared for what they might find? And more importantly, was he ready to confront the secrets the stars were hiding? As the ship entered the Nebula Gate, a massive cosmic storm enveloped them, sending the Vanguard tumbling into a strange, uncharted dimension. Gravity shifted, stars blinked out of existence, and time itself seemed to warp. The crew found themselves trapped in a strange pocket of space, disoriented and helpless. In this new, twisted dimension, they encountered strange, ethereal beings, creatures made of light and energy that seemed to exist outside the laws of physics. The beings communicated through thoughts, conveying a sense of ancient wisdom and sorrow. They were the last remnants of a civilization that had once thrived in this galaxy, but they had vanished long ago, their existence now a mere echo in the cosmos. The beings explained that they had been waiting for Ayan, the one who could unlock the secrets of their past. They revealed that the universe was not just a vast, empty expanse, but a living, breathing entity filled with consciousness and energy. The beings had been the caretakers of this knowledge, but now they were dying, and only Ayan could carry their legacy forward. As Ayan connected with the beings, he was overwhelmed with visions, images of distant worlds, cosmic battles, and the rise and fall of civilizations across time. He saw the moment when his own family's ship had been destroyed, not by accident, but by forces beyond human comprehension. The creatures revealed that his family had been part of a much larger cosmic struggle, one that he was now a part of. With his newfound understanding, Aeon returned to the crew, who had managed to stabilize the Vanguard after the storm passed. The ship was now on the brink of returning to familiar space, but Aeon had a choice to make. The beings had offered him a path, to stay with them, to learn and protect the ancient knowledge of the universe, or to return to Earth and continue the mission of exploration. But in doing so, he would forever be bound to the knowledge he had uncovered, carrying the weight of the universe's secrets. In the final moments, Aeon stood before Captain Zara. "I can't ignore this," he said softly. "The universe is so much bigger than we thought. We have to protect it." Zara, though reluctant to let him go, understood. "You found your true calling, Aeon," she said. "But humanity still needs you. We all have our roles to play in the future of this galaxy." Aeon made his decision. With a heavy heart, he chose to leave the crew and stay behind in the mysterious dimension, where the beings would teach him to carry their legacy. As the Vanguard sailed back toward Earth, Aeon's image faded from view, but his journey had only just begun. Curious and adventurous pilot who was always looking for new thrills, even in the vast emptiness of space. They had all come together for this moment, their mission to explore the unknown. Despite their differing backgrounds and personalities, they were united by a single goal: to reach the Nebula Gate and unlock the mysteries that lay beyond. Days turned into weeks as the Vanguard glided through the endless sea of stars. The crew adapted to the rhythm of space travel, but Dr. Aeon's unease grew. He spent countless hours analyzing data from distant stars, looking for anomalies or signs of something unnatural. He shared his concerns with Captain Zara, but she dismissed them with a smile. "Space is unpredictable, Aeon. That's what makes it exciting." But Aeon wasn't convinced. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them. Strange fluctuations in the ship's sensors kept appearing and disappearing, tiny anomalies that no one else seemed to notice except him. Late one night, while the crew was asleep, Aeon ventured into the observation deck. The stars outside seemed too bright, almost as if they were pulsing, and a strange energy field washed over the ship. His heart raced, and a cold chill ran down his spine. He had never felt this way before, not even during the most dangerous moments of his career. Aeon returned to his quarters, unable to sleep. He spent the rest of the night fanning through the ship's records and came across something unsettling. An ancient signal, one that had been picked up long before they left Earth. It was an encrypted transmission, originating from the very coordinates they were headed toward. The transmission was too old to trace, but it was unmistakably of alien origin. The next morning, Aeon shared his findings with the crew, and Zara's expression shifted. She had always been confident about the mission, but now a shadow of doubt seemed to creep in. "We have to be cautious," she said, her voice steady. "But we cannot turn back now." As the Vanguard neared the Nebula Gate, the crew witnessed a phenomenon beyond their understanding. A massive cosmic storm surrounded the region, a swirling vortex of light and darkness that seemed to pull at the ship's very core. The ship shook violently, and the crew struggled to keep control. "Hold on," Kaito shouted from the cockpit, fighting to maintain the ship's trajectory. The storm was unlike anything they had ever encountered. It wasn't just a natural occurrence, it felt alive. "Prepare for emergency protocols," Captain Zara barked, her voice sharp and commanding. "Everyone to their stations." But before they could react, a blinding flash of light erupted from the center of the storm. The Vanguard was suddenly thrown into a strange, uncharted region of space, far beyond the known galaxy. The stars outside were unfamiliar, twisted in ways that defied physics. The ship's systems flickered, and the crew was left disoriented, unsure of their location. "We've crossed into another dimension," Dr. Aeon said, his voice tinged with awe and fear. "This isn't just space, it's something else entirely." As the crew worked to regain control, they made an alarming discovery. They were not alone. In the distance, a massive, dark shape loomed, a colossal alien ship, unlike anything humanity had ever designed or imagined. It was ancient, covered in strange symbols, and emanated an otherworldly hum that seemed to reverberate through the very fabric of space. "Should we approach it?" Luca asked, his voice trembling. Ion studied the alien ship through the ship's sensors, trying to decipher its structure and purpose. "We don't have a choice," he said. "We're stuck here. Our only chance of getting home might be to make contact with them." Captain Zara hesitated, her instincts telling her to turn back, but there was no going back now. "Prepare a team for an away mission," she ordered. A small group of the crew, including Ion, Zara, and Kato, boarded a shuttle and made their way to the alien vessel. As they approached, the atmosphere grew heavier, as if the very air around them was charged with energy. The alien ship's surface was smooth, almost metallic, with symbols pulsing across its hull like living creatures. There was no visible entrance, yet as they neared, a section of the ship opened, revealing a glowing interior. Inside, the crew found themselves in a vast, dark chamber. The walls seemed to stretch infinitely in every direction, and the floor was made of an alien substance that shifted as they moved. In the center of the chamber stood a strange, floating entity, a being of pure energy, its form constantly shifting and swirling, impossible to comprehend with human eyes. "Who are you?" Captain Zara asked, her voice steady but full of wonder. The being's response came not in words, but in thoughts, transmitted directly into their minds. It spoke of an ancient civilization that had once ruled the stars, long before humanity had even learned to walk. It spoke of the Nebula Gate as a passage to the unknown, a gateway between dimensions, where time and space no longer followed the same rules. "We are the Keepers," the entity communicated. "You have entered the realm where all paths converge. Here, you will learn or perish." The crew was faced with a choice: leave and try to return to their dimension, or stay and learn the secrets of the universe, potentially unlocking power far beyond human comprehension. But the longer they stayed, the more the fabric of reality seemed to unravel. Aeon, filled with both awe and fear, knew that the journey would change them forever. Some things once learned could never be unlearned. As the crew debated their next move, the alien ship began to hum louder, and the chamber's walls seemed to pulse in response to their presence. The stars outside flickered, and the nebula storm raged once more. They were on the edge of discovery, but also teetering on the brink of destruction. Would they make it back to Earth, or would they be lost in the void, forever changed by what they had seen? Zara's expression shifted from curiosity to concern. She had always believed that their mission was purely scientific, an opportunity to push the boundaries of human knowledge, but now a sense of unease began to settle over her. "Are you sure about this?" she asked, her voice steady but laced with doubt. Aeon nodded, his face pale. "The signals pattern matches nothing we've ever encountered. It's not just noise, it's purposeful. Someone or something is out there, and I believe we're about to meet them." The rest of the crew gathered in the ship's briefing room. Luca, the ship's medical officer, voiced his worries. "What if this is a trap? What if they know we're coming?" Kato, ever the optimist, interjected, "We can't just turn back now. We've come this far. Whatever it is, we need to face it." Zara listened to the concerns of her crew, but deep down, she knew the risks were far greater than they'd ever anticipated. Yet, she also knew that retreating now would be a betrayal of their purpose. They were explorers. They had to go forward. "We continue the mission," she said, her tone resolute. "But we proceed with caution. We'll stay alert, and if we encounter anything hostile, we'll act accordingly." The vanguard sailed on, the sense of unease growing with each passing hour. As they neared the Nebula Gate, the strange fluctuations in the ship's systems increased. The sensors were going haywire, and the ship's once stable course began to veer off slightly. Nadia and Kato scrambled to recalibrate the systems, but the more they fixed, the more glitches appeared. Then the anomaly happened. Without warning, the ship was hit by a powerful gravitational force, unlike anything they had ever encountered. The vanguard lurched violently, sending the crew tumbling. Ion's heart pounded as the lights flickered and alarms blared throughout the ship. "Brace for impact," Zara shouted, but the force was too overwhelming. The ship was dragged into a dense, cosmic storm. For minutes, time seemed to stretch, endless, terrifying. The crew gripped their seats, praying the ship would hold together. When the storm finally subsided, the Vanguard was no longer in the same place. The stars outside had shifted, and before them lay a massive structure, an enormous alien station that stretched for miles across space, a combination of strange organic and metallic surfaces. The Nebula Gate. This isn't possible," Ion murmured, wide-eyed. "This isn't just an ancient signal, it's a gateway." Zara stood at the helm, her voice barely above a whisper. "We've crossed into another realm. Whatever happens now, there's no turning back." The crew stared in awe and fear at the alien station ahead. The Nebula Gate was not just a discovery, it was a doorway, a passage to something far beyond their understanding. Ion, in his scientific curiosity, wanted to explore it, to learn its secrets. But deep down, he felt a warning. His instincts screamed at him to be cautious. The Vanguard approached the station cautiously, the ship's systems pinging with readings of unknown materials and energies. As they drew closer, the station's outer surface began to glow with an eerie light. A sudden transmission crackled through the ship's communication system, a voice not of Earth. "You have arrived. Welcome to the threshold." The crew fell silent, the weight of the words settling heavily upon them. Something had been waiting for them, something far older and more powerful than anything humanity had ever encountered. Before anyone could respond, the ship's control panels began to flicker, and the crew found themselves locked in a strange orbit around the station. The station's gravitational pull had locked them in place. "Captain, we can't break free," Kato yelled, trying to disengage the engines, but it was no use. The Vanguard was caught in the station's grip. The lights inside the ship flickered again, and an alarm sounded, signaling an unknown breach. Ion rushed to the control room and looked out the observation window. He could see the alien structure shifting, opening like a colossal door, revealing a dark, foreboding interior. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. There was no way to escape without understanding what they were dealing with. With no other choice, Zara ordered the crew to prepare to board the station. "We go in. Stay together, stay alert. Whatever we find, we face it as one." The air was thick with tension as they suited up in their space gear and prepared to board the station. The unknown awaited them, and with every step, they knew they were crossing a threshold that would change humanity forever. As the airlock opened and the crew stepped onto the alien station, they were greeted by an eerie silence. The interior was vast, and the walls pulsated with an unnatural light. It was clear that the station was not abandoned. Something or someone was waiting. In the distance, they saw a shadow move, something human-sized. A figure emerged from the darkness, a being that looked almost like a human, but its skin shimmered with an iridescent glow, and its eyes glowed with a strange intelligence. The figure spoke in a voice that echoed in their minds, not their ears. "You have come far, but the path ahead is not for the unprepared. Are you ready to face the truth of the universe?" Ion, driven by his desire to understand, stepped forward. "We are ready," he said, his voice steady despite the uncertainty. And with that, the crew of the Vanguard took their first step into the Nebula Gate, into a journey that would change the course of history and humanity's place in the cosmos forever. Pulled into a powerful gravitational field, far stronger than anything they had encountered before, the Vanguard shook violently as the engines sputtered, unable to resist the force dragging them in. The crew was thrown from their seats, alarms blaring throughout the ship. "Captain," shouted Nodia, gripping the console tightly as the ship lurched again. "Something's pulling us in. It's not natural." Zara's eyes flickered to the control panel, her mind racing. "Kato, full thrust, now," she barked, but it was too late. The ship was already entering the event horizon of what appeared to be a black hole, its immense gravity warping space itself. "We're not going to make it," Kato muttered, his face white as the ship's systems began to fail one by one. The view outside was nothing short of terrifying, stars stretching and distorting, their shapes blending into a swirling vortex of cosmic chaos. Ion stumbled toward the central command station. His heart was pounding, his mind unable to comprehend what was happening. This is no black hole, he gasped. This is something else, something alive. Zara, her hands shaking as she fought to regain control of the ship, looked at him with disbelief. Alive, she repeated, her voice tinged with fear. What are you talking about? Before Ion could respond, the entire ship was plunged into darkness. The lights flickered out, and the steady hum of the engines fell silent. The crew was plunged into eerie quiet, except for the faint sound of breathing and the occasional beep of failing systems. Then a voice, low, resonant, and strangely calming, echoed through the ship's intercom system. "Welcome, travelers. You have found the gate. You were meant to arrive." The crew froze in terror. Ion's heart skipped a beat. This was no accident. They weren't just lost in space. They had been drawn here, to this moment. "It's them," he whispered, barely audible. "The ones who sent the signal." The voice continued, its tone both haunting and inviting. "Do not fear. You are in the presence of the Etherians, the first travelers of the universe. We have watched you for centuries, waiting for you to reach this point." The Vanguard was now floating in an unknown dimension, a space outside the boundaries of known reality. The stars were gone, replaced by a vast, shifting expanse of light and energy. Time itself seemed to stretch and warp as the crew struggled to understand what they were experiencing. "We have learned much from you, human," the voice said. "You seek knowledge, but knowledge is not all that awaits. You are not just explorers, but inheritors of what we began long ago. The gateway you passed through was a test, and you have succeeded. Welcome to the next step of evolution." Zara took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. "Who are you? What do you want from us?" The voice was calm, but there was a note of finality in its words. "We have no use for your bodies, but your minds are a gift. You are now part of something greater, something that will transcend time, space, and existence. You will learn what we have learned, and in time, you will become like us." Ion's mind raced. What did this mean? Was humanity being chosen to ascend, or was this a trap to merge them with something beyond comprehension? "What happens to us?" he asked, his voice strained. "What do you want us to do?" "Nothing," the voice replied. "You will simply be." The ship began to vibrate as a strange energy filled the air, both soothing and unnerving. The crew members could feel it, an almost overwhelming sense of connection to something vast, something that stretched beyond their understanding. Then the voice echoed one final time. "This is your last choice, humans. Return to your world with the knowledge we have given you, or stay here, in the realm between realms, and join us. The choice is yours." The crew was silent, each of them caught in a web of thoughts. Zara turned to her crew, her expression conflicted. She had always believed in exploring the unknown, but this was beyond anything she had ever imagined. Ion looked at the others, his mind torn. He understood what was at stake, the chance to evolve, to transcend, but at what cost? Could humanity afford to leave behind everything it had ever known for something so incomprehensible? The silence stretched as the crew struggled with the decision. In the end, it was Zara who spoke. "We came to explore. We came to understand. But this is too much for us. We've learned enough." She turned to Ion, who nodded solemnly. "Then we leave," Ion said, his voice heavy with both regret and relief. The ship's systems flickered back to life, and the voice faded into the distance. The gravitational pull lessened, and slowly, the Vanguard began to drift away from the mysterious realm. As they returned to the known universe, the crew stared out into the void, forever changed. They had glimpsed something far beyond their understanding, a knowledge that would remain with them for the rest of their lives. And as the Vanguard sailed back toward Earth, they knew that the universe held more secrets than they could ever hope to uncover. But some mysteries, they realized, were meant to remain just that, mysteries.